Imagine a place where your eyelashes freeze shut the second you blink. You take a breath, and the warm air instantly turns into ice crystals, falling like dust in front of your face. Think about it. What if the water in your pipes froze into solid rock before it even left the tap? Or if you turn your car engine off for just a minute and it never started again? Today, we're talking about a place where death hides behind a blanket of white snow, waiting for the smallest mistake. Deep in the wilderness of Siberia, Russia, lies a tiny village called Oymyakon. It is the coldest permanently inhabited place on Earth. At one point, the temperature here plummeted to minus 71.2 degrees Celsius. That's nearly 96 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. While most of us start shivering the moment a freezer door stays open too long, the people here live their entire lives in those conditions. This isn't a movie, it's a bone-chilling reality. The name Oymyakon actually means unfrozen water. It's a strange name for a place that's essentially a giant block of ice, but it comes from a nearby thermal spring. The village sits in a valley surrounded by mountains that trap the freezing Siberian air like a giant bowl. Because the cold air has nowhere to go, it just sits there, turning the ground into something called permafrost, soil that stays frozen solid all year round. Nothing can grow in this dirt. So how do 500 people actually manage to eat and survive here? When you wake up in Oymyakon, your first battle is simply staying alive. Most houses don't have indoor plumbing because pipes would simply explode in the cold. Instead, residents have to use wooden outhouses in the backyard. Imagine stepping outside into minus 50-degree weather just to use the bathroom. Life here is a constant war to keep the fires burning. Every home has a wood or coal stove that runs 24 hours a day. If that fire goes out, the house becomes a frozen tomb within hours. Their diet is just as extreme. Since farming is impossible, people live on meat and fish. They eat reindeer meat, horse blood, and a local delicacy called stroganina. This is raw fish caught from frozen rivers that freezes solid the moment it hits the air. They shave it into thin ribbons and eat it frozen with a bit of salt and pepper. To get vitamins, they rely on horse milk. In this environment, your body needs massive amounts of calories and fat just to keep your heart beating. Going outside is a luxury, not a choice. When the temperature drops below minus 50, the schools finally close. But at minus 40 or 45, children are still expected to trudge through the snow in heavy fur coats. Everyone wears special boots made of reindeer hide to keep their toes from falling off. The biggest danger, though, is your face. If you stay out too long, your eyeballs can actually start to freeze. Being outside for an extended period isn't just uncomfortable, it's a death sentence. Owning a car in Oymyakon is a total nightmare. Unless you have a heated garage, you can never, ever turn the engine off. If you make the mistake of shutting it down, the oil and fluids turn into thick glue. To get it running again, you'd have to light a fire under the engine and the wheels just to melt the ice. Because of this, cars often run 24/7, and gas stations stay open all night just to keep the supply lines moving. Perhaps the grimmest part of life here is what happens when someone passes away. Digging a grave in frozen ground is nearly impossible. The earth is as hard as iron, so a burial can take days. They have to light a massive bonfire on the ground for several hours to thaw a few inches of soil. Then they dig a little, light another fire, and repeat the process over and over until the hole is deep enough. In Oymyakon, even death is an expensive and exhausting struggle. The technology doesn't fare much better. Batteries die in minutes. Ink in pens freezes solid. If you wear glasses, the metal frames will stick to your skin, and pulling them off can actually tear your flesh. Cell service is a rare miracle. During the deepest parts of winter, the sun only shows up for 3 or 4 hours a day. The rest is total darkness, and a silence so heavy you can literally hear your own heartbeat thumping in your ears. When summer finally arrives, the change is shocking. Temperatures can actually climb to 30 degrees Celsius, 86 Fahrenheit. The ice melts and the entire landscape turns into a massive, muddy swamp. But this season is short-lived. Within a few weeks, the White Executioner returns, and the village is locked in ice once again. The people of Oymyakon live by an unwritten contract with nature. They know the environment is a cruel ruler, yet they found a way to win. They are proof that a human will to survive is the strongest force on Earth. You might wonder why anyone would choose to stay. For them, this isn't just a village, it's home. This freezing life is their normal. In fact, when they travel to other cities, they often find the weather uncomfortably hot. Oymyakon reminds us that the world isn't the same for everyone. While we complain about a little winter chill, there are people on the other side of the planet herding reindeer in minus 70 degrees. This lifestyle teaches us the absolute limit of human endurance. Every single day there is a victory. We can't even imagine the craving they have for a single ray of warm sunlight. Today, this tiny Russian village is a source of global fascination. People visit just to feel what it's like to have their bodies start to freeze. But for the locals, it's not an adventure, it's a daily reality where modern civilization hits a wall made of ice. The story of Oymyakon puts our own comforts into perspective. We complain about minor inconveniences while these people face nature's most terrifying conditions with a smile. In the end, that's what life is about. Adapting and persevering. Oymyakon isn't just a place on a map, it's an epic of human courage. Even at 71 degrees below zero, the human spirit refuses to be extinguished. On those silent winter nights, when the wind howls against the mountains, you can see the glow of fire through the windows of the small wooden houses. That light is a message. No matter how dark or cold it gets, life goes on. Humans haven't learned to give up, and Oymyakon is the ultimate proof. What do you think about this incredible struggle for survival? Could you last even a week in a place where your own breath could be dangerous? It's a reminder to be humble in the face of nature's mysteries. The next time you feel a bit cold, think of the people in Oymyakon, living their lives in a kingdom of ice. How long do you think you could survive without the modern comforts you have right now? Let us know in the comments.
Almost gone.